Someone who has lived in Kashmir, who has observed Kashmir both from within and from the outside for many years, written about it, written best-selling books about life in Kashmir and beyond, and someone who understands it perhaps better than anyone else, the very respected journalist and author Rahul Pandita, who's also my friend. Rahul, welcome. I wish these were under better circumstances. Terrifying numbers. Nothing official is out yet, but the pictures I'm sure you've seen already, Rahul, painting a truly extreme picture of what really must have taken place. Even if you look at just what's come out in those viral videos. Your initial words on this incident, Rahul?
A terrible intelligence failure, Shiv. All our hard work in Kashmir since August 2019 has come to naught. All this while, we have managed to dominate Kashmir Valley in terms of laying a very, very robust security grid, which had made the movement of terrorists from one district to another very difficult. But today's attack has made one thing clear, that there is a presence of foreign terrorists. It's very well known. They are present in the upper reaches of South Kashmir, especially in Kokarnag area, etc., which is not far from where this attack has happened today. But today they have come down and they have made their move.
Yeah.
And they have made their motive clear. And by they, I mean Pakistan. Today's massacre must be seen in the light of what the Pakistan Army Chief General Munir said recently. His anti-Hindu rant, his validation of two-nation theory. Everything which has happened today, the targeting of innocent civilians, reeks of that symbolism, Shiv. As your correspondent Nazir was saying, Pahalgam is a very important place. In less than 2 months, it will become the base camp for the holy Amarnath pilgrimage in Kashmir Valley, which is now visited by millions of people, really. So, really a very big task ahead for security forces. In 2019, when Pulwama happened, you and I know that, in terms of a security response, a sort of a Rubicon was crossed.
Yeah.
But I think now the time has come, like I said in my posts on X, that this the response against today's attack has to really go beyond the symbolism of Balakot. We must go beyond, using our assets to give us a GPS coordinate for a particular place. This response must be very, really immediate. And we must see the smoke from the venue where Mr. Dulat recently launched his book in the national capital, and I advise us to move forward with Pakistan. There's absolutely no moving forward with Pakistan.
Let's be specific, Rahul. What are you suggesting? Not in terms of just the response, but what are you hoping to see as far as next steps are concerned? I completely agree with you, that Rubicons, have ceased to matter now. If the scale of what we're hearing has actually happened, and it's likely to be confirmed very, very shortly, what, in your view, do you think needs to happen specifically?
I think, first of all, we should have been prepared for it. Like Nazir was saying, this has not happened for the first time. The American Vice President, J.D. Vance, is here. We've seen what happened when the former American President, Bill Clinton, was here in the year 2000. A terrible, terrible massacre happened in the Sikh village of Chitti Singhpora, leading to the massacre of 35 people. If we keep Pulwama aside, because it was an attack against the armed forces, I think it's the biggest attack in Kashmir Valley since the really, really terrible 2001 assembly attack, in which I think about 30 to 35 people were killed. Now, this really needs a response, like I said, which will go beyond the symbolism of Balakot. We must, first of all, understand that Pakistan is not letting it go. And now that country must feel pressure for what it has done. There should be no ambiguity, like you said in the opening remarks. who is behind this. It is Pakistan. It is their intelligence agency, ISI. The TRF, which is a proxy of Lashkar, is their pit bull. Nothing happens in Kashmir. No terrorist attack happens in Kashmir without the know-how of Pakistani security establishment. So our response should show to the world means to us. Otherwise, we'll be in for a big embarrassment, the kind of embarrassment we faced after the Mumbai terror attacks.
Well, because, you know, the yardstick has already been set. The benchmark has already been set. You know, no matter what anyone says about the 2016 Uri strikes and in Balakot, that precedent as far as action is concerned has been set. And that's going to be an element of pressure perhaps already on the government, even though we don't want to sort of second guess what that response will be. It will be at a time and place of India's choosing, but it will have to happen and be seen to happen. Rahul, the dynamic on the ground, you've spent a long time, you know, in Kashmir, in the hinterland as well. Pahalgam is one of those places where there's almost a kind of social compact that, you know, tourists are off limits for any kind of violence or threats because they bring the livelihood, you know, for local businesses and the local population. What could have made, you know, terror groups in Pakistan violate that? I mean, that has held largely for a long time.
I think it's been by and large an unwritten rule in Kashmir Valley that tourists will not be targeted. Though there have been some, you know, attacks against tourists in the last 20, 25, 30 years. But this is by far the biggest attack in Kashmir Valley. I have been to Kashmir Valley at times where there has been, you know, there have been big attacks against security forces. But just a few miles down, there was absolute normalcy, you know, in terms of tourist response in places like Pahalgam, even in the heart of Srinagar. But as we speak now, Shiv, it has already created a terrible sense of fear among tourists. I'm told, I was just speaking to a couple of my sources just before we started this program. You know, the airport is packed. Tourists are getting away in huddles. You know, they're trying to get anything they can in cabs, buses from really popular tourist destinations like Pahalgam, Gulmarg, Sonamarg, etc., etc. But I think what has happened right now is very clear in the sense that this shows Pakistan's frustration, its inability to do something really concrete from their point of view in Kashmir from August 2019, from the abrogation of Article 370. That is why you see a lot of action in terms of JASH modules has moved to places which were not, you know, the security grid was not, has not been dominant in Jammu region. We've seen a number of attacks happening in Jammu region, in Kathua, Udhampur. A lot of infiltration has happened along the international border. Now, from that, you know, we're trying to control that situation in Jammu region.
Very true,
this attack, this big attack, you know, replete with symbolism of all kinds. That is what General Muri said, that Kashmir remains our jugular vein, and this is what they have tried to prove through this dastardly attack today.
Terrifying that it's happened just a few days after that very, very inflammatory speech. Rahul, appreciated it. Once again, I wish these were in better circumstances, but I have a feeling we're going to be meeting again on this show this week. This is by far the biggest story in the country at this point of time, and we will be